Hello students of Spanish for Teachers, Part 1. This is going to be a course that's going to talk about the issues that you're going to have in class as Spanish teachers. We're going to start with beginners. So the first lesson, we're going to talk about nouns, adjectives, and articles. We're going to start nice and slow, and basically I'm already assuming that you are studying to become teachers, you are teachers, or you're just basically interested in teaching Spanish. And the main focus of this course is that we're going to talk about all those issues and problems and frequently asked questions, which is what I put in your course, FAQ, the acronym. And we're going to share knowledge after you do your quizzes and after you see these lectures that are recorded. And so you're going to present to the other classmates, if you like, because it's self-paced, so you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just listen to the lectures and then take your quizzes and see how you're doing. But sharing knowledge with other students who are in the same dilemmas that you might be, sometimes it's really interesting, especially because there's people who are already teaching and some people are barely just taking this course because they really like Spanish and they would like to learn or to know what it would be like to be a teacher of Spanish. Some of my students in my master's courses that I teach in colleges, in some colleges, were thinking about becoming teachers. And they were sometimes Spanish speakers. They spoke really well, but they had difficulty explaining those grammar issues that, you know, if you're an English speaker, sometimes you might have those issues as well when you speak English very well, but you don't know the why, where, and how, the linguistics of your subjects, like adjectives, verbs, verb conjugations, the articles, the adverbs, etc. So we're going to talk about these things in this lesson and in this whole course. We're going to have 10 lessons or chapters. I call them chapters, same thing. And in each one of them, you will have 10 questions, a quiz, which will be just kind of like a refresher or a review of what we've talked about. Okay? So this is mainly what we're going to do. So we're going to start and move on to our first subject, which is the nouns, the articles, and the adjectives. So basically, the main issue with the articles and the nouns and adjectives is the problem of gender. Why do I say or call it problem? That's because English doesn't have gender for nouns that are things like, for instance, my glasses, gafas, or my jacket, chaqueta, pelo, my hair, pelo, lámpara, the lamp. In English, people are used to speaking of things in a neutral way. Basically, they don't have gender. It is very hard for the English-speaking student to understand the concept that a thing has gender or sex, so to speak, like a person. So it's feminine or masculine. It confuses them in a way that sometimes they even confuse it in the sense that they think that, for instance, one time in a class, I had a very interesting question, which was about corbata, tie. Corbata ends with A, so it's feminine. And one of my students said, this is not teachers, they were students of Beginners 1, Anglo speakers, and he said, Profesora, why is corbata feminine if a tie is something that usually a man uses? See what I'm saying? In your classes, you will find this kind of questions which you have to realize that the English mindset, or the canvas, so to speak, the database of the English words, will not match that other picture of how words work in Spanish. And one of the main problems will be the gender, for starters. They get used to it later, and then it's fun, and then the more advanced they get, it just gets better and better. But at the beginning, it's very confusing. It's just you have to change your mindset. I tell them that kind of like a robot, they have to sort of like reset. Turn off the button of English and turn on some other button of a new language, because comparing it to English is extremely useful, and I use the translation grammar method, and I really like to compare English to Spanish all the time. However, sometimes that gets in the way just because of the concepts, the ideas, and they get really puzzled and sometimes upset that they don't understand why things have gender. Okay, so in this lesson, in this chapter, we're going to I'm going to give you examples in the questions. For instance, if you're wondering what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you, what will you say if they ask this? Or this word is this gender or that gender. Do all words have gender like this and like that? You'll say true or false, or you'll pick one. It will be self-paced, so you can take your time. You have 3 attempts. You can, go back to your textbooks and check it. It's basically a practice for you to realize how much grammar you know. Okay, so we'll just leave it there. I just wanted to give you a little introduction of what the course is going to be like, and then on the next video we're going to attack the nouns, articles, and adjectives. Okay, all right.